Brexit has destroyed the UK's economy. Now, I know what you're going to say. Oh, that's a little bit, well, a bit of an exaggeration, isn't it? You know, we're all right, ain't we? Well, if you had your head under the stone, well, then maybe that might be your thinking. But no, it's getting worse. It is. And it's extremely bad for the United Kingdom. Now, Keir Starmer is swanning around the EU trying to gain favour with individual member states of the European Union, such as Meloni in Italy. But that doesn't help our trade situation and the fact that our exports are down. No. You see, every EU country's exporting to the UK or importing from the UK or exporting from the UK have still got to abide by the same rules of import-export. There's no preferential treatment on a country or state by member state. No. There never was and there never is. No. So until we actually own up to the consequences of Brexit and the damage it's done to the United Kingdom's economy, its ability to spend money on public services, well then we're not going to be able to move forwards. Now, it's all very well people like Keir Starmer telling us we're definitely not be joining the single market, you know, Brexit means Brexit or make Brexit work, you know, all those slogans. It doesn't make any difference because the fact of the matter is that Brexit has damaged our economy. Now, I know some people are going to say, the pandemic, oh, crikey, 400 billion. That was 400 billion that was wasted or much of it, by this previous government, the Tory government, on PPE, etc., such as 200 odd million to her with the bigger boobies, you know, Michelle Mone. And what about the 36 odd billion that disappeared into thin air? We just got to own up to it. And that includes the British public, including those who voted against Brexit. Say, we just got to accept it now. Oh, you know, people voted for it. Democracy, they say. Really? That was not democracy. Democracy funded by, Russia, Vladimir Putin, is not democracy in any sense of the word. No. Now, unfortunately, we are where we are. And you could argue, OK, we've got to try and move forward from this. But how are you going to move forward anytime soon if you've got this ball and chain around your flippin' ankles? Wally? Yeah. Now, since 2021 to 2023, according to a fresh study, UK exports are down 27%. So far, Brexit has cost the country $311 billion. This is just madness. And not to accept it is madness in its own right. Because unless you accept the damage it's done and how bad Brexit is for the UK, we're never going to be able to move forwards. It's an impossibility. It just cannot happen. No. Because how are you supposed to heal the damage if you don't know or want to accept what that damage is? You can't, can you? It's like applying a plaster, but you don't know where the flipping wound is. Now, so many industries in the UK have been negatively affected by Brexit. And it goes right across the field. Materials such as paper, wood, etc. And it's farming, agri-food sector, chemicals, you name it. Pretty much across the board. Anything that we exported before has been hit by Brexit. It's not easy. And we haven't even got the flipping checks yet. It's been postponed again, can kick down the road, on imports of fruit and veg. What's going to happen when that flipping world is imposed on the people of Britain and the supermarkets? They've got to go through all that palaver. Your food is already not lasting in the fridges, is it? It's rotting as soon as you flipping well pick it up and bring it home, stick it in the fridge, and before you know it, it's all gone limp and flaccid. I'm just finding it mind-numbingly, it's just idiotic. Absolutely idiotic. There's so many things, such as the red tape, labelling, import-exports, the fact that business to business across the channel has been hit by Brexit. Business to customers has not just been hit by Brexit, it's been literally just wiped off the map. Talking about ostracising yourself, I suppose I'm a bit all over the place with this, but I'm winging it. So I'm just basing a lot of this stuff I've already know, plus the fact that this new survey that's been published. Now, Brexit all the way along has been an absolute, I was going to swear, mess. Yeah, it's been an absolute mess. Everything they tried to do has failed. UK CA marks on all products in the UK. That failed. We're still having to abide by the CE marks, which is okay on imports, but exports, no. You've got to get the stuff checked in the EU. Tested. At a cost. Now, the manufacturers in the UK are saying, okay, then isn't worth the candle in the UK anymore. And they're relocating in the EU. Because they can still export to the UK and the CE marks still apply. But if they manufacture in the UK and they export to the EU, well, they're going to have to get it tested in both countries. Or get it tested in the EU first, so it can then be exported. Oh, crikey, it's a mess. Then what about the so-called UK REACH? To replace EU REACH, which is the largest chemical database in the world, for which the UK contributed towards over decades. Well, what happened to UK REACH? Nothing. But still, they're having to do testing on animals. That wasn't being done before. There is still testing on animals. Before somebody writes in the comments, they still test on animals in this, in this country, in the EU, in that country. Yes, they do. But it's limited now to what it was before. The UK is going to have to test on absolutely blooming everything. If they wish to see through the UK REACH, they don't have access to that database anymore. They've got no choice. Unless you want your eyes to blow up instead of a bunny rabbit's. Now, some stuff is on the UK REACH is fairly straightforward. We're talking about old data. But as new products arise and new chemicals arise and new materials, etc., all this stuff's going to have to be tested again in the UK. A huge cost to industry in the UK. All these costs get passed on to the customer. And if they are to export those goods and have to incorporate those huge costs, they're going to price themselves out of the market in the EU. So of course they're going to move abroad. It beggars belief. The whole thing is an absolute flipping mess. Let's say all these sectors. They don't want to mention about hospitality sector, probably because the whole hospitality sector is going to be completely and utterly devastated because of all the hotels and what have you being filled with migrants and what have you. Very little hospitality in the UK now. Plus, a lot of people in the UK they can no longer afford to go out to eat. So maybe that's another reason why they haven't actually been hit by Brexit, obviously. But it's not listed as one of the worst hit when it was before. Everything is going down the flippin' pan. It really is. Yet, nobody wants to admit it. these prominent Brexiters will just carry on their mantra. If, for instance, Keir Starmer shows any kind of lenience towards the EU, instead of having a pair of balls, he'll carry on sucking up to the Red Wall and Nigel Farage. I just find the whole thing absolutely incredible. Now, Keir Starmer said about closer alignment with the EU, that he was going to get rid of the barriers. He's just going to sideswipe all the restrictions, all the red tape, and we'll be able to trade happily with the EU. That's pretty much what he said recently. In fact, it was just in a recent BBC article. He's got no control over that. Keir Starmer can do nothing other than suck up to the EU, which is basically every single person in the UK is going to be sucking up to the EU. There's nothing we can do other than accept the situation that we're in and just soldier on at more cost. Now, there is a march at the end of this month. Nothing's going to happen, though. There'll be a few people marching. But we do need to keep it in the minds of the individuals. Now, one of my worries is as the time progresses, and a decade's time maybe, our youngsters who will be at voting age probably wouldn't even know what the European Union is. Probably wouldn't even know what it was like when we were in the European Union. So trying to convince them that it's a good idea, it might be a little bit tricky. So the longer things go on, and the UK is slipping down that slippery slope, worse things are going to become. And at the moment, we're in a transitional stage still. We're still having to work our way around the red tape, and it's not all applied yet. And next year, there's going to be a summit, an EU summit, where the UK and the EU are going to decide, is this trade and cooperation agreement working? And it isn't the case, we can renegotiate it. No. It's just a case, is it working? Well, you've got a choice now, do you want to get out of it? Well, that just put the UK in even more shit. Whether it be the UK deciding that they no longer want any part of the trade and cooperation agreement, which would be a stupid thing to do. I can't see Keir Starmer or any of the Labour Party advocating for that. But I don't mean to say the EU won't. But I can't see them advocating for it either. But they could. There could be member states that say, hang on, this ain't working. Now, recently, with Keir Starmer's announcement regarding Erasmus, the youth visa scheme, etc., he's got the backup of EU diplomats, MEPs and what have you in Brussels. They had high hopes that we were going to be able to soften our arrangements or have some sort of trustworthy, not in the new agreement, but trust between, implement the flip and trade deal, for instance, in full. But no. Keir Starmer's just pushing the same old Tory narrative. So I don't hold a lot of hope for the UK. I really don't. And the British citizen and the kids still living in the UK, I'm deeply, deeply concerned. Now, I was hoping with this fresh government, with such a mandate, to have some common sense. And I'm not saying about rejoining the European Union or anything like that, because that's a long shot. That's a long way off. But I was just hoping that there was going to be some kind of investigation into Brexit and the detrimental effect of Brexit on the UK, so at least we'd have some idea what needs to be done. And if it's sensible to go through the process of joining the European Union, Article 49, and getting ourselves prepared so we can apply with the Copenhagen criteria of 1993, well then I would. That just seemed like common sense to me. If that was if that was our direction of travel. but it isn't, unfortunately. I think what we've done is we have put ourselves in such a sticky position with the EU, under Boris Johnson and Liz Truss, who said she couldn't trust Emmanuel Macron. Friend or foe, that's what they're wording. And obviously the behaviour towards pretty much all the EU member states regarding Brexit. And Remainers and other people who would potentially be voting for the government. You know, you've got to try and woo those to your thinking instead of just ostracising people even more and creating an even bigger divide. And before anyone says to me, well, the services sector in the UK has increased since Brexit. It was going to increase anyway. It got nothing to do with Brexit. It might have increased more if it wasn't for Brexit. How to put it? I'm just dismayed at the stupidity of it all. And I don't feel that there is any coming back from this anytime soon. It seems all very negative, I know, but it is negative. The state of the country is not something to admire at the moment, whether it be economically, whether it be the social divide, the protests that are going on, the state of the environment as well, and the little that's been done about that. No matter what David Lamb is saying, I just feel we're a bit lost. I do. I think it's a sorry state of affairs, and I really want to believe that things can change, but unfortunately, I don't see it. Until we accept the damage it has done, there is no moving forward. There really isn't. You can't move forward without the information to make things better. So we need a study. We need a study. We need an investigation of Brexit and the damage it's done to the UK. We need to know. And we need to get the government to be honest about it and own up to the damage. Anyway, what do you reckon? Please leave it in the comments down below. Sorry to be all doom and gloom, but all this talk at the moment is just, it's mind-numbingly, it's just stupid. Just stupid. And disappointing. Anyway, please leave it in the comments down below, and please click the old like button and subscribe to the channel and all that. But also, we're doing a rewilding here in France. We're planting loads of trees on a positive note, and you can have a tree with a sign with your name on if you just follow the GoFundMe link down below. So we're planting lots and lots of trees. 1,000 trees on at least 1,000 trees on 2 hectares of land. Anyway, it's time for us to go. So I'll say toodaloo, So toodaloo.